Yeah, that's a little better. All right, you all set there, Corinne?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna call the January 20th, 2025 Select Board meeting to order. It is 5:15 PM. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none. Approve bills for payment. We have the warrant in front of us.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 20th, 2025 warrant.
Second. Joe seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Pass this around to be signed. Okay. Any questions there on the financial snapshot, balance sheet, or the budget status report?
No, I don't.
One from you.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none. Thank you very much there, Lisa, for getting that together for us. Okay, that's from yours, I think. Maybe it's, maybe it's. Okay. Time for public comment. Any public comment from anyone here that can be possibly added to a future agenda? Hearing no public comment. Parks and Rec, approval to apply for grant funds to replace the Peelot's Point Boardwalk. Gene, I think you're up.
That's the information I think I provided to you.
Yep.
This is a lower probability grant. The state doesn't have that much money in the federal. government, so we're probably in our trail section, we're probably looking at 3 to 4 grants for statewide. But what's nice about it is an 20%, the 20% match, and the match can be all volunteer or almost all volunteer time. So it's kind of nice for us. So we're gonna go try, we'd like to apply for it. I do have one error on here. I have on here that it's 2 years from the time of signing the contract that we have to use the money. They've shortened that up this year to 1.5 years. So the signatures, if you get it, the signatures would be in mid-July-ish for the contract, and we have to use the money out by December 2026. The reimbursement, it's a reimbursement grant. They've switched from a monthly process to a quarterly process, so we may have to fund a good percentage of this all at once and then get it. And then we planned it for next fall, not this, I'm sorry, fall of 2026, but it would be mainly because we don't know if we can get a contractor in time. Because we can't do any activity on it until that July, but if we could, we do have a little bit of money, we can reprioritize stuff within our budget, push stuff to the following year, that we could accommodate the cash outlay for this, including the permit if we need it.
Okay.
So. And. Questions?
Well, we'll entertain a motion there to approve the Parks and Rec to apply for the grant funds.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Parks and Rec grant application. I will second.
All right, we have a motion by Claire, a second by Tim. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gene.
You're an expert now at writing grants.
Okay, Water Board, approved the water storage tank contract with Nagley and Chase. Andy, I think you're up.
Yeah, sure.
Any-
We received 3 bids back on December 20th. Nagley and Chase was low, slightly above the engineer's estimate, but still very reasonable. So we're looking, and we received the recommendation from our engineer, Aldrich and Elliott, that we should award the contract to Nagley and Chase. Their cover letter is part of this package. They're a good reputable contractor.
Yep.
I'm happy they were a little bidder.
Okay.
Just, and that binder right there, there was almost 100 pages included in their recommendation to award. There's a hard copy of the whole thing in that binder. If you want to go through page by page, we can, but it's basically all routine documentation that we'd have with this type of job, especially with the state government funding. So
Okay,
a good chunk of that is documentation of our outreach efforts for disadvantaged business enterprises. There's 30 some odd pages of that. More detailed information on Nagley and Chase.
okay, so we all have to sign each and every page and initial it?
Yeah, or at least initial.
All right. All right.
I'll make a motion that we improve the water storage tank contract with Nagley and Chase, as per the recommendation of the Water Board and Aldrich and Elliott.
Do I have a-
Second.
Joe seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
I'll also make a motion to appoint Andy Alling as the owner representative for the water storage tank construction project on behalf of the town.
Second.
Joe seconds. Any discussion? I think Andy's pretty well qualified.
Yeah.
So all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Uh,
And I have a resolution that you all need to sign, and I forgot to bring a printed copy, so I will print it. Can help me remember
Is
to,
it the same as in our agenda?
yes, but we should do a clean one.
Yeah.
They're all double-sided, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Mine does not appear to be double-sided.
Really?
Huh?
Okay, well, let's go for it. Save me a trip downstairs.
No, you're good.
Page 30.
Oh, this is just the way I like to see him. What page of the agenda is that?
30.
We're gonna, you could email that to me in the morning. I'll pass it along.
I don't know if I can do it in the morning,
But whenever, tomorrow.
but yeah, we have our onboarding with our new IT person.
Oh,
But
that's exciting.
Yeah, I can do that.
That's-
You?
Yeah.
Huh.
Thanks.
we'll get it to you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations to the town. This is a good project.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Nice to finally be ready to start, so.
Yeah. Yes.
Was Claire the second on that?
Joe.
2 in a row.
All right, good evening, everyone.
All right.
Andy?
Thank you,
Still
Andy.
Not there.
All right, listers, we need the appointment of Mary DiTilio to the vacant position.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right,
Have it.
I'll give it to Tim. Tim has the second. Any discussion?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mary. 2024 equalization results. So you want to fill us all in here, Lisa?
Sure, we got our transport equalization study results. Pretty much what we expected. So COD is 20.84. It actually got a little better. The CLA dropped 62.02. But that's pretty much what is in line with what the sales are like.
Okay.
But when I went through all of the, sales that were included in the study, we were missing one. Which is the next item is the appeal.
Right.
There was a, property transfer tax return that was manually completed. Normally they're all through the Vermont state system, tax system. And this one was manually submitted and we had to mail that in and they never received it or didn't process it. So that's what the appeal letter is to get that approved.
Would that one make that big a difference in?
You know, in a small town with the limited number of sales we have,
Yeah.
one sale will make a
Can
difference.
make a big impact.
It's not gonna all of a sudden change us and not require a reappraisal,
Yeah.
but over 3 years, I mean, it's a legitimate sale on Butler Island.
Oh.
So I think that would be the first time I complete it.
Okay. So in front of us there, we have a letter here to Jill Renick.
I'll make a motion to authorize Carl Rocca to sign the appeal letter to Lisa Remick, who is the director of PBR.
Do I have a second?
Second. Go ahead. Claire got it.
Claire seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? I'll have a clean sheet tomorrow or,
Yes.
okay, I'll be in tomorrow to sign that.
Or you can just sign this one.
I got another.
right there.
You got the master right here.
Packets.
That's right, you should. Okay. Want to go ahead and date that, Lisa?
Should be dated to.
January 20th, yeah. Well, okay. Kind of like initially.
Thank you.
Okay. Approve the appeal, we've done that. On to 2025 annual meeting, approve the annual meeting warning for 2025. Hmm,
Comments from you?
Did I sign that one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, you did.
Has the town report gone to the printers?
No,
Okay,
it can't without this.
without this, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No. This will also be copy and pasted on the ballot. So I've reviewed it multiple times. Lisa did a numbers check. But anything that you see?
No, I
Yeah,
have no comment.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the Town of North Hero official warning for our informational hearing take place on March 4th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
Claire seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Do you have one over there you want to use, or should I use this
Nope,
one?
go for it. You saved the day. I think I grabbed my wrong
It
folder.
just has the page numbers on the bottom. I don't know if you
I
care.
don't care.
Duper. Okay. Now into municipal code of ethics.
No, don't we still have to do the budget?
budget, yeah.
Oh, sorry, signed, we'll approve fiscal 26. Fiscal year 26 budget for the town report. Do I have a motion there to go ahead and let me go ahead and approve that and sign it?
I'll make a motion to approve the 25-26 budget. Second?
Claire seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
There's a clean copy of this one.
Because Lisa did it. Yeah, she made some,
Changed the
she cleaned it up a little too. Thank you, Lisa.
Are you all caught up there?
Mhm.
Karen? Okay, because you're gonna be next up. Municipal code of ethics, well, you don't have to be next up, but, so this is a draft, whether or not we wanna go through and
Well-
Approve this draft, go ahead, Gary.
Um, earlier I said the meeting, I went to this weekend wasn't fun, I was being glib. It was actually a pretty good conference and, the last presentation was on, municipal, law. And, they focused a great deal on open meeting law, the Public Records Act, and our brand new municipal code of ethics. And I think it's important that this board knows kind of what some of the people who are watching this pretty closely are thinking. This is a step one. Probably this is the first step down a much longer path. I don't know. One of the things that was discussed was having all municipal officials eventually probably being in a position where you have to state all known or potential conflicts that might associate with you serving as a municipal official, similar to how you would if you're serving on the board of a major corporation. And I think the emphasis right now, probably for the folks who are watching, are going to be on the conflict of interest issue. How we as municipal officials are conducting our duties, and doing so in a way that is fair and impartial. Well, fair and impartial is probably not the right thing to say, but it is absent of a conflict, whether actual or perceived. So as we look at this ordinance and as we're at the very beginning of this kind of growing and learning together how this may change over time. I think peering a little bit into the future is probably a good thing for us to do. I think the success by which municipalities navigate this kind of stage one of this municipal ethics board, you know, is hoisting this upon us. It may be indicative of how quickly and how dramatically it may change over time. Because right now, this is a self-governing policy. We are supposed to govern ourselves. You can reach out directly to the State Ethics Commission if you have a complaint that you do not want to bring to the municipal official who is identified to receive complaints in your town. And the state will coordinate with the liaison. The liaison will bring it to the attention of the governing body. But I think there's, if any messaging around this policy comes out, I think we should really focus on conflicts as being one of the things in a small community that can be very difficult to avoid, whether it's an actual conflict or an appearance of a conflict, right? They don't have black letter law in Vermont associated with this right now, but one of the presenters who's from a different jurisdiction who does, and when you're considering whether something that is in front of you is going to benefit you disproportionately when compared to the general populace, there's a 25% number. If it benefits more than 25% of the taxpayers, then it doesn't disproportionately benefit you. But we don't have that right now, so there isn't a bright line on how people on the State Ethics Commission are going to weigh in on that issue. If a complaint is made against a municipal official who appears to be acting in a way that is a violation of the so I would encourage this board, to the extent that there are issues in front of us that appear to have or that may have conflict issues, err on the side of caution. that have very specific rules about how you state a conflict. You have to state the conflict, you have to explain why you have the conflict, then you can no longer participate. Recommendation was, once you've stated a conflict, to step away from your chair and sit in the gallery. So that you don't even appear to be able to persuade the issue simply by standing up and being close to the other people who are deciding. But this is what was presented to us attorneys who many of whom represent municipalities. Right, so this is the messaging that's coming from our profession to us, so that we can more adequately represent our municipalities who are going to be facing this new round of ethics inquiries that are coming from the State Ethics Commission. So as little time and resources we may have to dedicate to this, it appears to be something that we should be very cognizant of.
Does the select board want to review their conflict of interest policy? It's been a long time.
I think as part of this, we probably should, and this is just my opinion. And we should familiarize ourselves with how the state of Vermont and the Ethics Commission is defining a conflict of interest.
That's gonna be my next question, because right now it's basically money.
Right.
If you get any monetary benefit, then step away.
That is not the state's definition. Does it benefit you? Does it benefit a business associate? Does it benefit a business partner? Does it benefit a close family member? And it's not only benefits, but also does it result in harm?
Hmm.
So perhaps updating our conflict of interest policy to be in line with the State Ethics Commission is a good place to start. And then making sure that we are operating in a way that I feel very confidently about, that we always have been. Right? I've great deal of trust and admiration for my fellow board members here. I'm not concerned, but it's not just an actual conflict, it is the appearance of a conflict, which is going to be something that we have to be very conscious of. If you state a conflict and you still believe you can participate, there is a specific rule under this new ethics law that tells you exactly what you have to do. And part of it is actually signing a written document that is held as a public record. So, I mean, that was the major takeaway there.
Okay. I think what I would recommend then, because if this is a larger discussion, like if this whole process, and it's not surprising me, is gonna start a snowball, that I wouldn't be surprised if the LCT updates their conflict of interest template, which is what our conflict of interest is, you know.
Yeah.
Based on,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suspect that they will, because these conversations are already very, you know, this is a brand new policy, and this presentation was actually by an attorney who's a member of Grand Isle County. He lives in Grand Isle County, and he is an assistant city attorney for the city of Burlington right now.
so I think what we should do then is just have the conflict of interest be on the next select board agenda, or maybe the next.
sure we're following one there because we're already,
Okay, so second meeting in February, but just so that we have all reviewed it and it's fresh in our minds, and then I'll reach out to VLCT and ask the question. And I'll add it as a to-do on that.
And we
list
must
for you.
complete our training by September.
Yes,
all right.
And
and I have training resources. That's on one of the other things on my list to do. I have a whole folded thing around this whole ethics thing. But I wanted to get all of our resources in place and get the page on the website together. And then just because we have till September, even though the training is ready and available, make sure I had my tracking mechanisms and the worksheets all ready to go before I reached out to the boards
Sure.
that are gonna be
Mhm.
impacted, basically everybody but Parks and Rec, and I can't remember, it's all but like 2 boards.
Yeah.
So
why not Parks and Rec?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
There's like an if else then type of scenario.
Yeah, because
Kind of.
that was my next question. If we get this together and change, all of that, then all the other committees are subject to the same thing, so we would. In that planning with how we're gonna communicate with the other boards.
And I didn't know, that was actually one of the only questions I had about this whole ordinance. What you've got in front of you is literally VLCT's template updated with town of North Hero, town of North Hero, town of North Hero. And if you, in reading it all, the only thing I could think we may want to add is clarification to what boards in North Hero fall under it. Or do we just want to do everybody? So it's.
Personally, I would err towards over inclusion and under inclusion. This is kind of a malleable thing right now, and I would suspect that if somebody, a member of the public, saw what appeared to be a conflict of interest taking place at the meeting of a public body that is statutorily exempt, that they will likely report it.
Mhm.
And so at least having those other public bodies aware of the structure from within those complaints will issue and how will be dealt with is likely a good thing, even if ultimately they are not a covered municipal subdivision of the state.
And you can always go above and beyond state requirements. We do that with the open meeting law. There are
It's-
no
it's
training
good
requirements, but
business,
we do
right?
it. Yeah.
I mean, it's good business. If we're all doing the same thing and it is all meant to allow members of the public to have faith in the public servants in this community such that they are acting with a high ethical standard, I don't think that's a problem.
Mhm.
I think it's probably a good thing. But I just wanted to share that tidbit because it was a fairly significant part of the municipal law presentation. And the feeling is that this is step one of kind of a multi-step process and that the state policy will evolve. And it wouldn't surprise me if eventually we were not self-governing anymore, but there was this became kind of like an OPR issue, an Office of Professional Responsibility issue, where when the complaint was filed, there would be a state-based investigation and a kind of a quasi-judicial process there from the state.
One of my hopes from the standpoint of the town of North Hero, because we already require open meeting law training and our boards are so good at it. That, and it's just like routine, everybody expects it. I was hoping that we could kind of combine the two. I have the feeling it's gonna be a really big reach for this first year as everybody's unrolling and trying to figure it out. But that's my ultimate hope, is that I can work with.
I don't think they'll be ready for it by then.
Yeah, I'm surprised the training material is already released,
Yeah.
but right now I have, VLCT has a canned open meeting law training, and the Secretary of State's, I think it's the Secretary of State's office, has put out the training for the ethics.
Well, I did my training in Montreal on Saturday, so I'm
You
good
can
with it.
sign that.
I can sign
gotta
it
get
for
my
this year.
Tracking form ready to go.
I did it.
Harry, when you say change quickly, how do you define quickly? A couple years, a year?
You mean how we may expect
Well, you
changes
said
in
that there
this?
may be
It
changes
may.
to the policy.
I mean, it really all depends, I think, on the volume of complaints that come directly to the state.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because if, if you're doing this analysis and you say, we want to put the towns in charge of this, but if what the state is seeing is that the people who are filing the complaints do not feel comfortable reporting them to the officials who are in those positions, and a majority of the ethics complaints just go to the state anyway, then the state may just say, well, it wasn't designed to be like this, but since you all have made it like this, we might as well make this the process, so there aren't two different tracks of pursuing an ethics.
Oh, I see, okay.
I mean, we're
Right.
such a small state, that's kind of like elections, like, if you don't like what your town clerk is doing, you can go to the board of civil authority, but most people don't know it exists, they just go right to the Secretary of State's office.
And,
It's easy.
and in a town like ours, the select board essentially is the BCA,
Yeah.
right? So you
So
have, you have the multiple hat problem here.
Yeah,
Where if there is a concern about a particular person from an ethical standpoint, you may not feel like you're getting a fair shake because everyone works together so much.
mhm,
And so I think from a public policy perspective, if it turns out over time that the state is just receiving huge volumes of ethics complaints, they'll say, okay, well, we need to create a new commission, we need to hire a new director of the commission, we need to have a quasi judicial process for receiving and reviewing. If we're making that investment, then we might as well modify the policy. To have that be, rather than like an option. Or an exhaustion of remedies issue where you have to go local first and then appeal up. It might make sense for them just to be the first. I mean, this is purely
Yeah.
speculative. This hasn't, this hasn't
Well-
gotten off the ground yet. but-
So we're going to take a look at our own conflicts of interest policy. We'll have that on for the second meeting in February. I hope the state in their infinite wisdom here has looked into the ramifications that this could possibly do to many boards in these towns that this could be quite dramatic. So anyway, anything else there on?
No, that was it. I'm sorry to be doom and gloom, but
No, That's all good, Harry. That's
kind of
good info.
what we had at the meeting.
That's good info. Thank
So
you.
I would say for tonight's purposes, that this be the first reading of the ethics ordinance.
Mhm.
And then at our next meeting, we'll formally approve it. And that will get the ordinance timeline moving. That's why I put the ordinance guide in there, but that's really.
On the timeline of, yeah.
It seems good and maybe this was implied, but you'll reach out to the LCT to see if they've updated their conflict of interest
Yes.
policy.
Right,
Okay.
Yep.
right. So you have dates on here, Corinne? But those dates are not applicable, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Anything else you'd like me to do here, Corinne?
Nope.
All right. We have the draft, we have the VLCT ordinance guide, and then we have the ethics complaint form draft, but I guess we're going to just table that until the February meeting. Is that correct?
Think so.
Yeah.
No correspondence in the package.
No correspondence?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Joe seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 5:49 PM. Thank you all.
I don't